welcome to another episode of Greymouse Does Stuff. In this tutorial I will be using this Commodore data set to transfer this game, which is on tape, and making a PC tape image out of it. So here we have the data set, which is currently connected to the back of my Commodore 64, and it's all ready to use. On the PC side we have got a X1541 cable, which I've connected to the parallel port, and that's connected to the back of my Commodore drive. Please have a look at my previous video on how to set up the X25 cable and Star Commander program. The first thing we need to do is we'll see if this particular tape will work on the data set using this Commodore 64. So let's do that now. Check to see if the tape has been rewound all the way back to the beginning. Put the tape in, and reset the counter to 0. Over to the Commodore. Here is my 64. Sorry that the picture is black and white and there's no audio, sorry about that. We are going to attempt to transfer this game from the tape over to the PC as a .tap image. Right now we are just testing the game itself to see whether or not it works, because if the game doesn't work then there's no point making a tape image out of it. So I'll just let that run. It's found the game, and I think it will auto run. Yep. It's getting there. The counter on the tape dataset itself is going up as it loads the game. The game seems to be running now A-OK, so the tape is OK. The next thing we have to do is we're going to have to set up the PC side of things so we can transfer this over. So over to the PC. Now we're back on the PC, we need to download a few files for the tape transfer. Start off by going to this particular website, Minstrel's Commodore page. The URL is on the top there, and we need two programs, one which is called mtap and the other one which is called ptap. We're going to be mainly focusing on mtap in this particular video. Reading from the web page, it says here it's an MS-DOS tool for creating real tape files or .tap files from an original Commodore 64, VIC-20 and C16 tapes using a Commodore dataset. You either connect your 64 with the dataset using a X1541 series cable or a C64S tape interface. I don't have a tape interface, but I do have the 1541 cable. If you'd like to learn a bit more about the X1541 series of cables, have a look at my previous video and it explains about pinouts and stuff for that particular cable. Download that one and the ptap program to your PC. The ptap program is used for if you have already a tape image as a tap file to write it back to a blank cassette. That's what that one's used for. Let's take a look at the files. We'll start off with the mtap36.zip. The files we need are mtap.exe, which is for DOS, and tapserve.prog, which is for the Commodore 64. One of the things we have to do is transfer the tapserve.prog onto a 64 disk, but we'll do that a bit later. Here I've separated the 64 program and the DOS program into different folders, just so it's a little bit easier for me to work with. So mtap is in the PC folder and tapserve is in the 64 folder. Let's go on to the next file, ptap37.zip, and we really only need one file, which is the ptap.exe, and I'll extract that over to the PC folder. The files in the PC folder are going to be copied onto a bootable 3.5-inch floppy disk. Since we have to transfer tapserve over to the 64, a real 64, I will copy and paste that onto the floppy disk as well. Copy these onto the disk as well. The disk has Star Commander on it. The next program we need for the Commodore 64 is a program called Copy 235, which is available from this website here and is part of the downloadable disk image here. We need this program in order to copy the tap/serve program onto a tape using a real 64. Because the disk drive has to be disconnected, the program needs to run off the tape instead. But I will show you that later. I have already downloaded the program, so I will extract it as well. Almost done. We need one more program, which is found on this website. It is called cwsdpmi.zip. We need that particular program, otherwise mtap may crash with the error message highlighted here requesting for this file to be on the disk. I've already downloaded it. Open it up. And just drag and drop on top of the floppy drive. File's already there, that's okay, we'll just replace it. So 5 files in total copied over. Now let's take a look at some documentation that came with mtap. I've highlighted the important bits. This is the README file for the ptap program. Again, I'll just highlight the important bits. in summary, this disk is bootable. It has got Star Commander on it. I have copied over the mtap program and the ptap program, which is required for DOS, as well as the cwsdpmi program, as well as the two programs for to be copied to a Commodore floppy disk, which were tapserve.prog and the disk image containing copy 235. With those files on the disk, let's reboot the computer off the floppy disk and run Star Commander to copy those two programs to a Commodore disk. Again, please look at my previous video on how to set up Star Commander. The Commodore 1541-2 disk drive is turned on and connected to my parallel port using my X1541 cable. I've put in a blank disk into the drive, and it should show up shortly. Alright, so on the left hand side is the Commodore 64 drive, and on the right hand side is the floppy disk drive. Let's copy tapserve.prog onto the blank disk first. Drive 8. And the file name will remain the same. This should be relatively quick. File size is not that large. Now we need the copy 235 program, which we'll have to extract from the SCA disk image. It's the one. Okay, copy that over to the disk as well. That's it, those two files are what we need on the disk. In part 3 of this video, I will show you how to set up your Commodore 64 with a tape drive ready to be used. Let's go! I've got a tape here that I'm going to use. Put that in there. So we need to connect the tape drive, which is that one, as well as the disk drive. That's done. There's the floppy disk cable, runs along and is plugged into the back of the disk drive. Just turn this around. And this is the disk, which has got the tapserv program on it. We need to get a copy of tapserv onto this blank tape. To do that, we will use the copy 235 program, which is also on the disk. Now everything is wired up. Let's go back onto the 64 and copy those files. Time to check the contents of the disk. Do a list. We need to copy just that one file, tapserv file, onto the tape. So start up copy 235 with the load command. Run. Okay, we need to use F5 disk to tape. TAP SERV. Source disk is already in the drive, so enter. The tape's already in the tape drive, so press enter again. No, because we don't want to use a turbo loader. Okay, and on the tape drive, now press the record and play. Job's done. That's the software for the C64, Commodore 64 sorted. This is where things get a little bit more tricky. We have to turn off the 64, disconnect the disk drive from the 64. The tapserv program has been copied to the tape. Disconnect the disk drive. The reason for disconnecting the disk drive is because I have discovered that tapserv will hang the Commodore 64 if the parallel port on the PC isn't initialized properly. The only way that I've found where the tapserv doesn't hang is if you go into DOS onto the PC and then connect the X1541 cable while the 64 is on. The only thing connected to the Commodore is the tape drive at the moment. Now that's set, we have to hop over to the PC again and get that ready to start transferring tapes. Boot off the disk in drive A. Now that the parallel port has been initialized, we can connect the X1541 cable into the disk drive port of the 64 while it is on. Let's do that now.
Cable here, that plugs into the 64 disk drive, and here we have the parallel cable. So now, and connect this one in its place. Cable is plugged in here, all the way back into here.
Here we are back at the 64 and it is ready to go. Load up tapserv, which should now run off the tape. Press stop and type in run. And put in the tape you would like to make an image out of. Okay, tapserv is running and is waiting for the PC. Hop back over to the PC. Finally, time to look at mtap. Let's have a look at the command line switches. Okay, so the X1541 cable, which is connected to the 64 at the moment, is in LPT1 or printer port 1, parallel port 1, and I'm using an X1541 cable. Alright, mtap space minus LPT1 space -x space and the file name. We will call this beachhead ii.tap and press enter. And press the play button on the dataset. And with a little bit of luck, yes, it's going. After all that work, it's going. It's going. It's going. After all that work, it's going. Woohoo. It's writing the tap file to the floppy disk right now. Let's see if the file is on the A drive. Do a quick directory for tap files. Yo, check it out now. Check it out now. It's finally worked after all this time. That's pretty cool if you ask me. That's about all the thing I'm going to do. Yeah. Reboot into Windows. Back into Windows. We've got the tap file ready to be used. Before we use it though, I'm going to run it through this program here, FinalTap. You can download it from the URL above. This program will analyze and repair tap files to make sure that the image is okay and that it will run okay in the Vice emulator. Here we have the two files. This is the tape file that I've copied off the floppy disk and I've put it onto my USB stick. What I'm going to use is this version of FinalTap to check out this tape, raw tape image. So first thing we need to do is extract this program, which I had done a little bit earlier here. And then we will copy the tape file into the same folder. Copy. Paste. Okay. Let's run FinalTap on this tape image. Open. And this is the file. Okay. Just blow this up a bit more. Okay. So it's failed some of the quality tests. Tape size check failed as well. Okay. Beachhead 2. So there are quite a few things going on here. Okay. There's quite a few problems. Let's see if this program will repair the tape file. So we go to Repair and Optimize. Now we've got a few more OKs here. The recognition test failed. Not sure why, but let's save this one. Yep, that's fine, clean. Save. Let's start up Vice to see if this tape image will work. Okay, so go down to Vice. Continue. Right, one of the things I have found is when you're using Vice is that you have to make sure that you're using the correct Commodore 64 model settings. So I'm using, I think the default is something like C64 PAL, and some of the games I've had didn't work. So what I've done is I've chosen C64 Old PAL, and that seems to make most of the stuff run okay. It's time to try that tape image. Do we have it clean? Attach. It's working. It's going at warp speed. That's why it's going so fast. Just go normal speed now. And there we go. It is working. It's pretty cool if you ask me. Quite a few steps we've had to go through to get this to this stage. Was it worth it? I'd say so, definitely. Also, by doing it again, the next time it will be a lot quicker to do because everything's already set up and you know how to set it all up, so it's definitely worth it. If you've made it this far through my video, that's cool. Thanks for watching. Please leave me any feedback, like my video, and feel free to share this video.